On February the 19th or 20th, depending on where you live in the world, there is going to be a dreamy, magical, enchanting, and a quality of healing in a new moon in the sign of Pisces at 1 degree. This is going to also activate two asteroids, Apollo, the god of plagues and, yes, pandemics, as well as Gonggong, the sea serpent of Chinese mythology that brings cosmic catastrophes, but also the deep healing that results when we come together for the soul of the tribe or the collective goodness. I'm going to talk about what that might mean for the world and for you in particular. Also, by the way, there is a star, a very powerful royal Persian star called Fomalhaut, sitting behind this particular new moon, sun and moon coming together in the sky. It's a really powerful energy to do with magic, mystery, occult knowledge and wisdoms, alchemy, and also sometimes a bit of emotional turbulence. This is going to happen as well at a time when Venus is exalted in Pisces, attending or midwifing, along with Neptune, this really special new moon. Let's get talking about what it means in your sky. Before I do, if you are new to my channel, because some of you are, my name is Lori Lothian, and I am a whole sign house astrologer using the Hellenistic tradition and the tropical Western zodiac. I am not using sidereal astrology. Jyotish is not Vedic astrology. I also would encourage you to look at my description box below this video. I have my Sky Reader, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life 8-week course. It'll be my third time teaching it, coming up in the month of March. If you want to get into that class and become able to read your own chart effectively, that 8-week course is where you want to go. It's perfect for beginners. Also, I have a lot of other stuff going on, but most importantly, I think what I want you to know is that I'm recording on February 8th. You will get this on YouTube land after that, maybe 3 or 4 days later, because my Patreon community, which is growing nicely, has free, ad-free access to all of these videos you see on YouTube for $5 a month, well ahead, sometimes a couple of weeks, even a month ahead of everybody else. If that even potentially interests you for $5 plus meeting me twice a month on a Zoom call for the group, then jump into my Patreon, and my newsletter gives you discount codes for readings with me and way more contests and perks. That's all in the description box, my weekly newsletter. I am unfortunately booked out until I think I have 12 spots left in the months of April and May, and I am fully booked. And I had to close my calendar for June and July, unfortunately, because I don't want to be booked out 7 months in advance. I will reopen the booking calendar as I approach maybe the end of April already. So sorry, guys, I just tend to I've gotten popular with bookings lately. I've always been booked out like 4 weeks in advance, but this is a new threshold. So let's talk about the sky today. You're probably wondering about my backdrop and what this is all about. Well, I did a video on the Venus Neptune Valentine's thing, and I made this particular backdrop for it, and I thought to use it again because this is also still Venus and Neptune together in Pisces in the sky where the Pisces moon is happening, and it has a flavor of that divine love, or as I played in my Venus video, go watch it, sacred love, from Sting. I'm not going to try to sing it. I'm a terrible singer, but I've been looking for a sacred love, no, or whatever, for the stars and the moon above. There's an enchantment in the sky when exalted Venus in Pisces meets with Neptune. And so that's sort of infusing the new moon at 1 degree of Pisces. And then on top of that, the new moon is also at a place in the sky where it is in a conversation of sorts. Of sorts with Saturn. Now, I want to be really clear. Saturn is not in Pisces. Saturn is hightailing it out at the very end of the sign of Aquarius. So, and by traditional standards, there is no relationship between out of sign conjunctions or being close to each other, but having a dividing line of a sign, like a big boundary. Think of it like the wall, the border, right? So Saturn's on one side of a wall, and the new moon at 1 degree of Pisces on the other side of the wall. So there is an energetic connection, but there's a wall between them. And add to that, which some astrologers aren't mentioning, that Saturn is invisible. So he can't really do things in the world yet. He's waiting to be visible after March the 5th. He's been invisible for all of February. And an invisible Saturn is a Saturn who's not functioning in the outer world the way Saturn normally does. So to say things to your audience like astrologers who say, well, Saturn is making this a serious moon, or a moon with boundaries, or a moon with realism, I don't think so. Saturn's invisible. I beg to differ. I think he's sitting there eavesdropping through the wall at what's going on with the new moon, because that's where he's headed. Saturn is going to leave 3 years. Oh my God, I'm Aquarius rising in Aquarius, right? Starting in March of 2020, leaving in March 7th of 2023. And as he's getting ready to exit, right, as he's leaving there, he's like the 29th energetic degree. It's very potent, powerful, and turbulent. He is watching that new moon through the, I don't know, little peephole in the wall. And then he's stepping into that territory. And that is important, really important, because Saturn will go back and forth over the 1 degree of Pisces as he makes it to 7 Aquarius and then retrogrades during 2023. So therefore, it's a seasoned degree. It's a hot spot from this new moon in Pisces at 1 degree. So for example, it will be on the times that Saturn crosses over and is now visible, by the way, it's March the 19th, October the 3rd, and December the 5th in 2023. That spot gets activated, activated, and activated again and again by Saturn, the Lord of time and karma and structure and focus and sobriety and discipline and realism and perseverance and hard work. And so I want you to consider that. I want you to think, well, okay, sure, there's a new moon, but this is a new moon that's going to create a sort of pocket, a magic pocket in the sky. And, you know, as Saturn moves for 3 years until February of 2026 through the sign of Pisces, Neptune is there as well. And so he'll be making Neptune and Pisces, Saturn and Pisces stories. And he actually doesn't meet with Neptune until like they both cross into 0 Aries, which is really funny, but he tries to meet with him. And so, you know, Neptune is dream, imagination, and fantasy, and the metaverse and visual imagery and simulated reality and all that, and Saturn is structure and form. So you can get, you know, I did a whole video on this Saturn and Pisces, but for the gist of it, I want to say it's also, you know, religious authoritarianism, like the Crusades energy when Saturn and Neptune get together in Pisces. So you got to watch for that. But the shorter term story for this year is that this moon is going to unravel a story for each of us, and collectively and individually, March 19th, October 3rd, December 5th. And finally, every new moon is like putting a seed in the ground to grow a tree that will then blossom and bear fruit when 6 months later there is a full moon in Pisces. Now the full moon in Pisces is going to happen on August the 30th. Full moons happen when the sun is across from the moon. So the sun will be in Virgo. It's August 30th. It's Virgo season, and the moon will be in Pisces across the way. Oh, 180 degrees away. This is my bum shoulder. And it gave me a twinge when I tried to do that. And so bottom line is that you'll see the seed you're planting in this new moon, this dreamy, magical, enchanting, profoundly healing new moon, bearing some fruit in August in your lives, and maybe in the world we'll see the same thing. Saturn is like a reality check, like cold water, like, you know, any illusions, delusions, rose-colored glasses, fantasies, and stuff like that you've got going on in your life or the world does at large. It's going to come crashing down with Saturn and Pisces. I'll do a new video on that one to update the big one that I've done. It's really doing well in my 2023 playlist of big transits. But part of me is a little concerned about Neptune here, because Neptune rules drugs, also alcohol and addictions, but like drugs, like, so pharmacy, big pharma, purveyors of drugs, whether it's your street drugs or your pharmacy drugs. Neptune and Pisces energies are about that. Like Pisces is hospitals, and because it's a natural 12th house, and insane asylums, you know. But then anyway, the whole Neptune Pisces thing is very much making me worry that there's going to be some discomfort coming as a cold, harsh reality check called Saturn about certain drugs that have been in the public domain or medical treatments, if you know what I mean. And it may be very disheartening, because this new moon is going to activate Gonggong, this water serpent of Chinese mythology. Now, I think that the Gonggong water serpent that's destroying, you know, just is a god of destruction or an element of destruction, is connected to the comet that went through, or asteroid or comet that went through our solar system and went over Earth during the Younger Dryas period when we had a return of another ice age. So the whole world saw this comet, with a head, fiery head and tail, spitting through the sky, and then there was myths worldwide about a serpent moving through the sky that caused destruction. So I'm thinking Gonggong is that story. But in our astrology, the sky is like a matrix and an algorithmic code that reflects reality. It doesn't cause it. Planets aren't causing your reality. They're reflecting what is here, what is happening, what will happen, what has happened, what will happen, what has happened. But it's a mirror, okay? As above, so below, as below, so above, the Hermetic refrain. And my feeling is that Gonggong is about a cosmic catastrophe. Now, there's different kinds of cosmic catastrophes that are awful. 9/11 is a bad catastrophe with the trade towers going down. I mean, Hiroshima is a catastrophe. The tidal wave in Japan that almost took the nuclear reactor out, or the one in Thailand, catastrophe, massive floods around the world that have killed hundreds, earthquakes. We just had one a couple of days ago in Turkey. So I'm not saying that we're going to have more of that. I'm just saying that with Gonggong being activated in the sky, it's possible. Let me show you what this looks like, because I will do all signs. If you're trying to hang in there, not get depressed, this is mostly a positive, sweet spot, dreamy and enchanted vision board type of new moon. But we can't avoid reality, things happen. So let's talk about it. Here's Gonggong. This is what he looks like according to the software. It looks like I guess it's the head of a serpent with a squiggly tail. I guess I can annotate for you. Why not? Let's figure out my annotation button. Okay, that's Gonggong with the new moon, right? Boom. And there's Saturn peeking across the wall. There we go. There's Venus and Neptune offering up visions, dream boards, and enchantment, or delusion and illusion, depending on what's going on for you. So that whole hot spot of the Pisces sky is one of your natal chart's 12 pie slices, 12 houses, 12 areas of your life, from marriage to your children, to your home, to your career, to your money, to your health. So if you don't know about 12 houses and whole sign houses, you can get my free tutorial in the description box below, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses, 5-minute tutorial using free online software. And then you'll know what the hell is going on. And you can download my Meanings of the 12 Houses PDF that gives you an in-depth rundown of the meanings of each of these 12 pie slices called houses in astrology. Now, here you can see Gonggong is at 4 degrees and the moon is happening at 1. Okay, so there's a connection, right? It's pretty close. What is the Gonggong story about? The big sea serpent that caused destruction, but may have to do with the other meaning of what binds the tribe in a healing way. In fact, I think I'll just read the software in a minute to you. Gonggong is also talking to Apollo. Now, Apollo is leader. Okay, like he's a sun god, so he can represent people who are leaders in the world. So possibly there's something going on with a leader, South Node, some disappointment, loss, letting go. I mean, I don't know, Gonggong, Neptune, leader. Ooh, what could that be? Behind the scenes stuff. In the United States Sibley natal chart, this is behind the scenes, like things, backroom deals, and things hidden from public view. And this is the 4th house, which in the United States also represents the White House or the party in opposition, depending on which way you read it, from the one in power. But that's a possibility. But the other thing is Apollo is the god of prophecy, but also the god of plagues. Apollo is resetting at 00. It's pretty well considered around the world that we don't have a plague anymore, that we are now in what's called endemicity. This is like a cold or a flu that's going to come and come again and again, and it's here to stay. It's called the pandemic, but it's no longer a pandemic. But Apollo was very active during that pandemic, just so you know, okay? And you can see that there's the nodes of fate. South Node, North Node, we've been going through that since the beginning of July as they've been traveling through the Taurus axis of the chart. Was like an Etch-a-Sketch. And you see that pattern that I just drew for you? That's called a wedge. So Apollo is on the South Node of loss and surrender and release and sadness and disappointment. South Node in Scorpio. Scorpio is secrets, things that are hidden from view, things that are under the surface that need to be dug up, research. When you use the word whistleblower, you're talking Scorpio. When you use the word spy, you're talking Scorpio. That story about, what's that guy who's like stuck in England and WikiLeaks guy? Come on, my brain. That's a Scorpio story. So spies, stealth, secrecy, secrets, but research, investigation, disclosures, that's all scorpionic. So what is this? Is it a leader with a disclosure? Is this a plague disclosure? I don't know. I don't know. And then it's coming from a house of secrets within the United States, but every natal chart's different for every country, so I can't go through all possibilities here. Then the North Node of Fate and Destiny going through Taurus has been happening ever since this is the head of the serpent Rahu, ever since January 16th, I think, of 22, and ends this July of 23. And this has been an area, because this Uranus is there with the North Node, of incredible electric energy around things like currencies, cryptocurrencies, the FTX scandal. It's all a part of that North Node in Taurus Uranus energy. So again, maybe there's more disclosures here to do with a crypto contagion from the FTX fallout, or information about what was really going on in the back rooms of that kind of narrative. You know, was this a planned takedown of the autonomy of crypto? Some suggest. Why? Because now this is such a disaster that there should be regulation of cryptocurrency markets and transactions by governments. See? So some people have a thought that this was an engineered disaster. Other people think it was just a natural disaster called the crypto collapse of FTX's exchange that led to contagion amongst other cryptos, including, I think, Ripple. And at the tip of this wedge, right? Wedge. At the tip of this wedge is what? At the tip of the wedge, in most precision, is Gonggong at 4 degrees, 664. Okay, and then of course also the new moon. So the tip of the wedge is the kinetic point at which the opposition between the nodes of fate, including the plague and leader god of Apollo, is finding its release or outlet. So let me read you the Gonggong in the narrative of the software, and then we will do all signs, I promise. And I know some of you don't like the mundane stuff. You're not interested in what's going on in the world, but it's important to understand that what's going on in the world impacts your personal experience of any given transit. You can't help but be a microcosm of the macrocosm. Before I read Gonggong, to remind us that Pluto is going to move into Aquarius in March, go check out my long video on that. It's at 25,000 views, because that's going to be a game changer, of course, for Aquarius risings like me in particular. But as he's anaretic at 29 degrees and he's getting ready to leave temporarily, March through June 11th, you can see he's having a talk with Venus, also getting ready to leave Pisces, right? And that is a very powerful energy when Venus and Pluto come together. This is a flowing energy. It's a sextile, the nature of an exalted Venus, but it could be something going on in the story of women in power that is needed for the world. It could be a woman in power stepping up for some reason and disclosing some kind of hidden secret, because there's that flow to the South Node, etc. in Scorpio. It could be a big female narrative going on in the world in the couple of weeks that follow the new moon. On the individual level, it can also be a bit of a boost in finances, because this is a temporary but minor wealth yoga when they're flowing, the two of them together, or love secrets that come out, but it's really good that they did, for example, because it works for the greater good of this chart. Now, Gonggong, I'm sorry, I heard that sound of my phone dinging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off and apologize in advance for not forgetting to do that. So because the Gonggong story is embedded in my software, I'm going to read it to you, and let's see how you feel about it. And lastly, before I read the Gonggong story, one more thing. There's a Sabian symbol about a dead squirrel here on the moon, the Sabian symbol. One of 360 symbols that are channeled for each degree of the zodiac is a squirrel hiding from the hunters. Okay, well, you know, I'm going to leave that to you to say what is hiding from the hunters, and who's the hunter in this story? Is Apollo, the leader in Scorpio, trying to reveal some secrets, the hunter? Assange, WikiLeaks guy is Assange. Is it Julian Assange? Is it a female leader who wants to spill the beans and blow some whistles? I don't know. Who's hunting and who's hiding? What is the squirrel that would hide from the hunter in the 2 weeks that follow this particular lunation? Neptune rules water. And I'm not going to pretend there isn't a possibility of an earthquake, tidal wave type event. Even though it's a positive moon, Gonggong suggests a potential for some destruction. So flooding, monsoon-like rains, tidal waves are big water things that could happen, as well as mass illnesses to do with waterborne contamination, which is really unusual. I mean, in our day and age, but it could be a massive cholera outbreak somewhere in the world, stuff like that. When Neptune was moving through Pisces back in the 1848 to 1860 timeframe, there was cholera outbreaks all over the United States and the world. So it could be a waterborne illness of some sort, as an example of a natural cosmic disaster connected to Gonggong. So I'm going to annotate, because now it's going to be a hot mess if I don't. So undo, annotate won't go off. So let me try again. There it is, off. So it doesn't want to participate in that thing called stop it. I cannot possibly do the whole reading with that mess on the chart, right? Let me try one more time to get rid of that, guys. Normally, there's just like a button I click and it just goes away. Oh my God, I can't get it to stop. All right, one more try. Let's try white. Now will it go? Yeah, I've had a Mercury day with all kinds of tech glitches. It's been insane in my house today. What I'm going to do is, I don't know, maybe if I just get rid of that and I move that. So that's sort of working. Gonggong is a Chinese water god who's depicted in Chinese mythology and folktales of having a copper human head, an iron forehead, red hair, and the body of a serpent. And sometimes the tail and the torso are human, and he's destructive, and he's blamed for various cosmic catastrophes. Now that was actually Wikipedia. I would like to read the software to you as well. And at this point, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fix this annotation problem. So let me stop the share and forget about showing it to you anyway, because it's not like I'm going to go through the chart and try to navigate all signs that way. So if I go over to Gonggong now, and don't worry about the annotation glitch, here's what Gonggong says. Now it fixed itself, eh? So Gonggong is sextiling the north node, don't forget, and trining the south node, right? Because it's a part of that wedge. And so there's this like divine flow, cosmic orchestration here. The asteroid number is 225088, 225088 for those of you who are asteroid junkies like me. A destructive Chinese water god, I read that kind of thing, body of a serpent, usually blamed for catastrophes, cosmic kind of catastrophes. That makes it sound like, the stars are falling, right? But I mean, at this point, I'd just say any big catastrophe could be Gonggong. Facing how one's selfishness is impacting others, learning to focus on the needs of another or of the group, getting involved with issues of another, tuning into the soul, in quotes, of a group, such as the soul of humanity and what needs healing on a soul level. Well, what needs healing on a soul level could be misinformation, disinformation, lies, and things like that may have happened in some places around the world or in the world to do with pandemic restrictions and measures and protocols, perhaps. I know, I hear you. I know some of you are thinking I'm out to lunch. So we're going to get going. If I may have to turn on my little handy dandy super duper brand new light that I have that a friend gave me because he knew that I was always struggling with the light. Oh, I'm struggling with the light. All right, if you are still watching me and you're in my live premiere and we have gotten this far together and you haven't hit my like button, which is like the only thing I ask of you other than like and subscribe, then please hit my like button. Oh my God, that's way too bright. So we won't do that yet. And if you do hit my like button, then it helps my channel grow. And if you're also just tuning in now and you haven't caught the beginning of this, check my description box. I'd love to see some of you in my Sky Reader class this March. I'm probably starting mid-March and it runs 8 weeks. I just need to let Saturn become visible in the sky. There's no way Aquarius rising, Saturn in my natal first house, that I'm going to launch something with an invisible Saturn, but he will be visible March 5th onward. And check that video out all about Saturn, Cazimi, and combust. Even though it's behind us, it's still relevant to what's going on in the sky with Saturn. All right, let's roll. I got my little blue tea. I keep refilling it. It's got like some kind of blue flower in it, and it's soothing for the soul. And we're going to start going through the signs now. It is my goal to get this thing done, all signs, in only 45 minutes. And that means I'm not rushing. I'm just being attentive to time, so that I will, and I promise that I've tried my best that everybody gets the same amount. Now, never do I start with Pisces because it confuses everybody. Why? Because when they come into the live premiere, they're waiting till the very end. But just today, because this is a Pisces new moon with an exalted Venus, and I feel sorry for the Pisces people who are always complaining about being last. And I always jokingly call first, but always first. Just because of that, I promise you, this is your turn to go first. I'm going to put you first, and we're going to start with that. And this is a moon on the 19th or 20th. It's late in the day Pacific time, like, I don't know, like 11 at night. And then it's like at 2 in the morning in Eastern Standard Time. And then, whatever later on in GMT. So it doesn't really matter exactly when the new moon is. It's planting the seeds for, as we said in the beginning, 6 months later in August, the tree is bearing fruit. Plus, as I said earlier, the 19th of March, the 3rd of October, and the 5th of December are 3 touch points of Saturn, giving form and structure to things this new moon is incubating in the sky. So let's go for it. Let's start with Pisces first and always first, because it is your moon and I want you to have a time to be the first at last, the first at last. All right, Pisces, in your natal sky, this as a fresh start, new beginning, and a seed planting, dreamy, enchanted, magical, and mystical energies. And you're planting that new moon, new seed in a relationship to the energies of maybe healing something profoundly from some sense of a personal cosmic catastrophe in your life, but using the enchantment of unconditional love, pleasure, and joy, the blending of that Venus and Neptune within the bounds of Pisces. You're healing yourself. This is you. This is a new moon, a new beginning for you. This is a healing opportunity to align with the nodes of fate in your own life. Your nodes of fate are pulling you towards that 3rd house to activate and expand and reach into the online world, your local neighborhood, relationships with siblings, trips and travel, and higher education, where you're trying to lean away from foreign lands, academia, and court matters. There's a polarity between 9 and 3rd house in your chart. This moon takes that tension and opens up a container for healing. You are the linchpin for your own success. There's something about what you managed to achieve in August 30th, add 2 weeks of 2023, when the moon is full in the house of you. And whatever you are bringing to fruition or fullness is because you're doing the seed planting now. And I would also suggest with this particular moon that you vision board, that you do a meditation, that you even adorn yourself with things that are beautiful. Pisces is exalted here, that you spend some time around the new moon, getting the haircut or putting on your favorite outfits, or just giving yourself the love up, and whether it's physical love up or emotional, spiritual love up, okay? Your own mystical, magical, Piscean, mystic poet of the zodiac, needed in our world, is being given an opportunity for a deeper layer of self-love and healing in this moon. There is a sense here with a bit of a wealth yoga in the sky, Venus in the house of you, in a potent and powerful sextile of luck and opportunity, that you may experience a boost in your wealth or security financially through the help of a friend, an ally or a benefactor or a friend or an eldest sibling supporting you in this kind of mini financial bonanza love up. Is it just for the new moon? Of course not. Yes, in the 2 weeks that follow, you may see evidence of it. But again, push yourself forward, push yourself all the way to August, and imagine that you're planting golden seeds of opportunity for greater wealth and abundance financially from this moon. Because Pluto isn't a pennies from heaven 11th house after all. It is a karmic reward that could come your way. And it can be through a great gain in your career as well. And finally, once Jupiter enters into Taurus, which is going to happen in May, you're going to find that the things that he's doing now, which is planting financial good seeds for you, but they might just be tiny and not sprouted yet, you're beginning to see evidence of some of those seeds that were planted coming through as Saturn in your 1st house talks to Jupiter in your 3rd and begins to give you tangible evidence of this new level of a prosperity coming into your world. So be patient with that as well. Aries, oh, I'm one of you. I forgot to change the backdrop. Should I do it? Do I have time to do it? Nope. Sorry. Oh, it's too much of a labor. So today we're just going to stick with what we got. But in longer videos, I tend to change a backdrop on Zoom so that you can see the sign while I'm talking. But we're going to rely on chapters and timestamps. All right, to get rolling here. In the story of you, the energy here is that there is a fresh start and a new beginning, a seed planting here, but in a deeply spiritual place. You know, this is your liberation from the Matrix house, your 12. This is where Neo finally gets unplugged and realizes what's going on in the movie. This is where Buddha got enlightened under the Bodhi tree. This is your transcendent spiritual attainment, enlightenment, awakening stuff. So you may, Neptune Venus, download an amazing book, a novel, a song, a piece of music under the spell of this new moon. This could be a dream. Neptune rules dreams, with a female in your dream and a delightful activation of some inspiration creatively. This also could be about releasing an addiction, self-defeating habit, or a pattern, finding the new seed you need in order to grow it into a blossoming tree of addiction-free life, self-sabotage-free life, or spiritual blossoming all the way throughout until August 30th, 2 weeks, when there is a full moon here. A reminder, as I said for the beginning of the video, with Saturn now bringing something concrete, tangible, and more real to the formless Neptunian space of your 12th house, where Neptune has been traveling since 2011, offering up some enlightenment juice, but some struggles with addictions as well, and mental health. As Saturn comes in here, he starts to order in the house and straighten things out and bring your more mystical and intangibles to reality. I want to use me as an example, if I may. I channeled 2 books, The Way of Miracles and The Coming Age of Miracles. I know, crazy ass. In 2019, under the spell of a transit of Neptune to my natal Mars in my 2nd house. Those are in manuscript form, PDF form, and I haven't done anything with them because I just haven't had the impulse to do it. Saturn's going to move into my 12th house for my sun and moon in the sign of Aries, and I will finally freaking get those things published. I just can tell you, it's an example. These 2 channeled things, The Coming Age of Miracles, The Voice of God, and The Way of Miracles, and suddenly along comes Saturn into my 12th house. He'll be like, book publisher, anybody? Or like, you know, self-publish, get this thing out into the world. Get it like into solid form. So what intangibles have you been putting on the back burner that you've had in your secret closet, your secret garden that you're ready to give form to? That's what Saturn will be bringing in. And he will, on the 19th of March, October 3rd, and December 5th, touch down on the hot spot of the sky, that 1 degree of Pisces, where this new moon happened. So there will be correlations in those time frames to whatever is being seeded in this moon, as well as the August 30th full moon. I do think that you may experience this moon as well, because it's in flow to the nodes of fate as an activation for greater wealth. The North Node in your 2nd house of earnings, income, and possessions is being loved up by this story. So even though it's mostly an enchanted story about your spiritual life and all the internals of your, you know, self-undoing being repaired, it could also lead you to greater wealth. I'll use me as an example. I have a website and a book that I want to write called The Wine Lover's Middle Way. If I figure that out, believe me, I'll be publishing that as a book and a podcast and a class. So whatever is going on here for all of us, it's really a nice spot as an Aries sun moon, but most accurate, of course, rising sign. And lastly, you know, the Gonggong story. I mean, a water serpent of cosmic catastrophe in the house of your deep soul. Some of you honestly may have like past life flashbacks during this new moon and the 2 weeks that follow. A helicopter going overhead. Talk about cosmic catastrophe. It's probably the hospital helicopter. Can you hear it? Anyway, and maybe you're gonna have some like dreams about like drowning in, you know, Atlantis or something. So pay attention to your dreams at night. If they involve any catastrophes, it's about another life and you're just kind of getting over it and healing it up. That's all. Okay. All right, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. In the sky, you have a new moon planting a new seed at 1 degree of Pisces. Of course, I should have said this for anyone, but for you got a first 5 degrees of sun, moon, or rising in Taurus or your sign, Pisces too, you're gonna get a little bit more intensity, but it's good for everyone actually. So here we have this, you know, story of this new moon planting a new seed, but also involving Gonggong, the cosmic catastrophes and the healings that come from things that go south. And we need to also attend to the needs of the whole with that energy. It's in your 11th house of good spirit. It's such a positive house. And you got Venus exalted there with Neptune. It's so enchanting. If you're a Taurus rising sun or moon, incredible lucky outcomes regarding female allies as benefactors, friends who want to help you who are likely female, positive windfall money stories, last minute money stories, good money stories emerging here, perhaps even a sense of getting ready to move into a new level of new beginnings in your finances from your career or your purpose path. Greater gains could be ahoy for you as you approach as you approach the full moon in August 30th, and that fruits out some greater gains from your career. You could also get benefits from an eldest sibling if you have one. And you may also find that you're up-leveling your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes for your life. And if I was definitely a Taurus, I'd be doing imagining, vision boarding, journaling around some of your highest dreams and goals during this very enchanted moon. It's up-leveling you towards better self-love and healthcare and taking care of your body. The North Node is sextile by this new beginning. Some of that better healthcare and body care stuff could really emerge for you most actively around the 19th of March, October 3rd, and December 5th, as Saturn brings form and structure to this place where the moon happened. As well, you might find that there's a leaky tire that you've been dealing with in your significant marriage house, love life house, like committed partner. This is going to flow a new beginning toward your descendant. So if you've had troubles in a long-term existing love relationship and you've been really struggling to keep that boat afloat, then this is going to move it into some kind of perhaps harmonious, positive healing. And I think that's it. I cannot get the light right. As you notice, I can't. Now I'm really pink and rosy. It's dark here now. It's Vancouver. It's winter. Let's keep going. It's just not the best. Like, it's a little mini light. Something wrong with it, but let's see if I can like lean into the light. That's better if I can face the light directly. Hang in there. Hang in there, everyone. Bear with me, please. All right, that'll do. I've got to keep rolling. All right, we're 3 signs in. Let's keep going. So, okay, Taurus, that's what I got for you. Gemini, sun, moon, rising sign people, in your sky, there's a seed of a new beginning. The new beginning is in your 10th house of career and reputation. It's what you do in the world that everyone sees you do. If you don't have a job, I don't care. You do something, right? You take your kids to school, you're a student, whatever. That's your visible career or your visible thing you do. And my feeling here is that with this new beginning, that's planting seeds, of course, you'll look to August 30th for the fruition. Gonggong, Gonggong, where have you felt some catastrophes or some things fall apart up here in your career house in the past, and how is that maybe now going to restore itself as this whole new moon complex aligns so powerfully and positively with the nodes of fate? Now, the nodes of fate are existing in your 12th house and in your 6th house, where they have been since January. And so the energy here is about moving towards a deeper spiritual connection to what it is that moves you spiritually, also to learning new things that are really going to support you in your purpose and path in life, career path and purpose. Like that could even be going back to school. And at the same time, you also would maybe want to let go of any addictions or any kinds of karmic relationships that no longer serve you, especially with people that you might have perceived as the boss or leaderful in your workspace. Some of you may be wanting to move away from that connection, and this moon is fortifying that. On a longer narrative, you might want to pay attention to March 19th, October 3rd, and December 5th as reiterating and reactivating this moon and bringing it back into story, bringing it back to life in some way. Basically, that's when Saturn will sit at the 1st degree, direct, retrograde, and direct. Those 3-part stories are connected in ways to things that unfold in your life in the 2 weeks that follow the new moon. All right, so paying attention to the 19th, add 2 weeks. And you're planting seeds of something new, and it's a rare time that you're going to have Saturn water those seeds over and over again. So this is a very powerful moon in that regard. Because of enchantment with Venus here, raises and promotions are possible, as well as some celebrity or fame, micro fame or macro fame, I don't know, or women in power supporting you in the 2 weeks that follow the moon, but maybe as a general theme all the way through this year. Okay? Certainly a good moon to plant a seed for greater money from your career path. Okay, especially because Jupiter's in the house of great gains. I don't go much into where the ruler of the moon is because he's in aversion and he can't see it. So if you know astrology, you know what I mean. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. All right, so watery you, it's having a trine flow to your identity from the ninth house. So anytime any of you water people have a water moon, it's always good for you, just like the earth people having an earth moon. So it's in a triplicity, flows in the nature of Jupiter, a trine from the ninth house to your first house. So the new moon is literally a new seed, a new beginning with a bit of a Neptunian, Venusian glow up and super enchantment in the house of God. Now, the ninth house, the house of God, is kind of like the house of spirituality, traditional religion, what faith you have, how you think the world works, you know? What do you believe in? And it's also the deeper dharma or purpose for which you are born. And in this sense, some of these deeper places are coming to alignment. Now, this moon has Gonggong. Where have you had maybe a sense of a catastrophe in your belief, spirituality, in your higher education, things to do with foreign lands, court cases, visas, and book publishing? If you felt something there has been somewhat catastrophic, Gonggong, this could be the beginning of a rectification, a healing of that. And this is also father and patriarchal figures as well, this ninth house. You know, this is also going to open up a flow to the nodes of fate, and that north node in your 11th house of good spirit brings windfalls, pennies from heavens, favors from friends, allies, benefactors, greater gains from your career. With Jupiter in your 10th house of career until the middle of May, that's a dough. Of course, you're going to have greater gains, raises, promotions, and money and more from your career, even more so when Jupiter enters your house of great gains himself in the middle of May this year till next year. Go check that video out in my playlist about Jupiter and Taurus. It's really swinging high for your money success in your career as a Cancer rising especially. And you know, the dates I gave you earlier, the 19th of March, the 3rd of October, and the December 5th timeframe, we have a Saturn story here. Saturn touching down on the 1-degree hot spot in the sky where this moon is. So look for foreign lands and visas and courts and religious and spiritual and book publishing stories to gel. And you may teach. You could be the professor in the ninth house. Do you want to be a professor? Do you want to teach a class? Do you want to guide people? Do you want to be a mentor to people? That's stuff that some of you Cancers are thinking of, as well as thinking about publishing a book. I have a Cancer girlfriend who's just finished her memoir, for example. And this is like, okay, Saturn says, let's bring your creative vision, Neptune, your Venus, your art form into real form. And look, of course, like I said to everybody, to August 30th, add 2 weeks for a hyper fruition of this moon, like a kind of super up level, you know what I mean? Because that's the full moon that kind of takes its cue from the new moon in August. All right, thanks, all I got for you. And we're continuing to shoot down the pipeline because I have a girlfriend coming over. We're going to make nachos together tonight, and we're going to drink a bottle of white wine. It really doesn't go with nachos, but I happen to have one in the house. All right, so this is Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign Leo people. This is a beautiful new moon in a money house. So who does want to have a new moon in a money house? Your 8th house of chunky money, inheritances, tax rebates, insurance payouts, shared resources with a business partner or spouse, inheritances. Now, you already had Jupiter going through here for quite a while. He finished up there December 20th on his 3rd visit. Some of you already came into chunky money if you're a Leo rising sun or moon. Some of you didn't, but some of you did. And now Jupiter is moving through your 9th house. He forgets about the chunky money. But we have a little bit of a more chunky money coming because Venus and Neptune, Venus a money goddess, Neptune dreamy enchantment and magic, is going to help this new moon seed something. If you had any financial catastrophes, and who the hell hasn't, but you felt like, oh my God, that was a financial catastrophe, Gonggong is here. So now we're going to maybe heal the financial catastrophe because we are in a flow to the nodes of fate. And the north node in the house of career and reputation is where you're going to get the most juice. Maybe you're going to get a new career, a better job, a higher amount of recognition in your career space. It leads to greater financial gain. For it to be eighth house money, maybe it has to be stock options or a buyout or a severance package or something, or a retirement package or something like that. It's unearned money, basically. And then now, I don't know, when I look at myself in this light, I look red and blurry. Hey, wait, there's another light here. Give me a minute. This is where I start searching for lights in the house. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Did it? I found another light. Hey, I found another light switch too. Hang on a sec. I'm coming back. Yay! Let there be light. All right. I think I put so many lights on. That's a little bit better, sort of. Okay. Okay, so yeah, and so it's good for your money. And look to August 30th, add 2 weeks of 2023 for where some blossoming happens. Saturn is going to help you when he comes into your eighth house to bring form to your money and to really be serious about your money and to really structure your investments or your stocks or your savings around your 401k or investment money or mortgage money or loan money. All that's going to get really serious and Saturnian. But he's meeting with Neptune there too, right? So that's going to help things along. So pay attention then as Saturn moves through, becomes visible, moves through your eighth house to March the 19th, October the 3rd, December the 5th, because that's when you may see some really tangible monetary results from some of your long-range visions, dreams, and goals around your finances to do with unearned money in particular. Don't forget that it can even include mortgages and investment monies. And yeah, you could definitely look at that with the south node in the fourth house. For some of you, like you're finally being able to move your home or sell the property or finally get that inheritance all tidied up, because legacy wealth is involved here as well. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. My daughter's a Virgo rising. My best friend who's coming for the nachos is a Virgo rising and sun. Like you guys, my son, S-O-N, is this Virgo sun. This is a story where you're looking at how you want to start fresh in some significant business or love relationship or with your audience, clients, and marketplace. Now, for some of you, this fresh start, fresh beginning, new start is to heal what feels like a catastrophe, Gonggong, in your significant business and love partnerships. So maybe things have been a little bit rocky, catastrophic. I don't know, but there's a healing going on. There's a new beginning because you're aligning this new moon, new beginning, which will fruit out and bear fruit this summer and August 30th at 2 weeks. You're bringing it in alignment with the nodes of fate, with the north node in your ninth house of wisdom, God, truth, dharma, faith, alignment with things to do with foreign lands and travel. So some of you could be, let's go away, honey. We need to get restarted by a foreign trip. Things to do with academia or visas, as well as court situations. Now, because the ninth house is a court situation and there's been a catastrophe in the seventh, I'm not going to pretend that some of you it doesn't look like finalizing your divorce settlement in a harmonious way. Also, south node, alignment for the south node in the third house of trips and travel and local neighborhood. Again, a lot of you, it looks like you may try to get some healing and new beginnings to move a significant love story forward by taking a trip together somewhere, even if it's not foreign lands, even local, because all is said and done, all of those houses are active, 3 and 9. And I don't think you have yeah, no, I'm going to stick with that. I just would say that the Apollo archetype is in the third house. And he also rules, besides plagues and prophecies, culture, literature, arts and stuff. You might want to go to the museum, a bookstore, or travel to a place where you adore the culture and the arts of that place to synchronize yourself with your partner, to move into a greater harmony. Pay attention to the 19th of March, October the 3rd, and December the 5th, when Saturn will park his ass on the 1 degree of your 7th marriage house, and this will reactivate the further development of your 7th house. I'm not going to lie, Saturn moving through your 7th house all the way through to 2026 will make or break it. You're either going to build a new foundation or it will crumble. And second of all, if you're single, you'll end up dating someone, but it would probably be somebody with older than you, a significant age difference. All right, that's that. All right. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign in your normal sky. And Venus is like just telling you she's the Lord of you, right? So yeah, Venus is your Lord. I just have to say that she's sort of collaborating with this new moon in Pisces in your third house where she is exalted. She's in Jupiter's house doing what she wants, having a good time, partying hard or not, because she has a new beginning here. And you know, the sixth house is your house of your own. Sometimes your own sicknesses are karmic, but sometimes you put them on yourself. Like maybe you work too hard, as all Libras do. They have no balance at all. Workaholic or playaholic, can't find the balance. And so, for the most part. And so then you end up here working too hard and coming run down and getting sick a lot of the time. I see it with you guys. And with Pisces there, it's like, I think I'll smoke some weed. I think I'll do some drugs. I think I'll drink some wine. I think I'll just like chill out. I think I'll go float in the pool for hours and hours at a time. And yet at the end of the day, it's about figuring out that balance. And so Venus here exalted with Neptune and the new moon and Gonggong. So has there been a disaster in your work, in your health, in your workaday routines with one of your pets or some kind of lease or rental situation? If any of those, or a debt situation, if you felt like cosmically catastrophized there and there's been some real challenge, then now you're healing that. This is what's great. Kind of because you're coming into alignment with the nodes of fate, and the nodes of fate are propelling you toward amplifying your well-being through relying on residual money, like royalty income, passive income, retirement income, income or money from the sale of a property or a possession. You're trying to move away from the hustle. The universe is saying, Libras, hustle less, kick back more from where you rely on money. Get your partner to make more money, your business or love partner. Let them lean on somebody beside yourself with your resources and your hustle. That's what Libras are going through, all right? And this is more true for rising, but some of you sun and moons may relate. And so this is a new beginning around where you felt a catastrophic overload in the work routines, the grind, the health, pets. Maybe the walking that pet every day is getting to be owners. Get your partner to do it. Get someone else to do it for you. It's a dating house, sometimes a sixth house, so a catastrophic dating disaster. Look for a full moon in August 30th at 2 weeks to give you the full fruit of what's going on. But also, as I said, for everyone, March the 19th, October the 3rd, and December the 5th are reiterations of this new moon. Because Saturn will enter into your sixth house and start to make, well, you thought you were working hard before, but it'll give you form and structure and discipline to do the work you need to do and to improve your health in a step-by-step manner. You know, the Virgos went through this already, so it's Libra's turn. And also he'll help you create form and structure around even your pets, you know, get more discipline. No, sit down, go, stay, you know, and all of that shit. You may also get more Saturnian when it comes to your discipline for your health routines. Like, no, we're not going to just lie around on the yoga mat pretending we're doing yoga. We're going to do the hard work. So that kind of thing starts happening. With you guys, you should go swimming or do water aerobics, really. That's your best way to get healthy according to your chart. And pay attention to your feet. They're one of your weakest links, Pisces. Alrighty, hopefully that's useful, and we're moving on. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign in your natal sky. The chart is speaking to us of a new beginning, a fresh start, and a new moon energy in your fifth house of your sexuality, your play, your pleasure, your joy, your enjoyment of life, your fertility, your children, your pregnancy, your inspiration, your muse, your creativity, your ability to manifest. This fifth house is also good for independent business enterprise, having your own business, being your own boss, okay? The idea here is you're going to have a new beginning and you're planting seeds here, and that those seeds, they will last or come to fullness in August, on August 30th, add 2 weeks. At the same time, this is a fertility house. If you're a Scorpio rising, especially sun and moon next, you know, this is a fertility transit in some ways, okay? It's not a classic fertility transit, but Venus is the god of ovum and sperm. She's attending the new moon, and there's catastrophic Gonggong. I mean, you know, did you have any catastrophic fertility stories that really left you rattled? Like, you know, I hate to say that, you know, like a miscarriage or something like that. And now this is a new beginning and a fresh start. Especially when Jupiter moves in May to your seventh house and sextiles a house of fertility, then you're good to go mid-May of 20 this year to next year, 23 to 24, and you really are in a highly luscious time for fertility. You know your body best, of course, but I'm just telling you, it looks good. This could be, though, things to do with planting the seeds for getting pregnant. And also, you might also find that if you're an artist, a creative, a muse-driven type person with a music, especially because Venus and Neptune could be very musical, but any art form, any creative art form, and storytelling and writing could be included. This is good. This is like a new beginning, a fresh start, kind of like, a realignment as you align with the nodes of fate. And then Saturn comes in here to help you. So when Saturn enters your fifth house in March and becomes visible after March 5th, then it's going to be in March the 19th. Then October 3rd and December 5th, he's going to help you bring some form to the formless visions and dreams you've had. So if you're an artist, you finally get your LP, EP out. If you're a writer, you finally submit your manuscript to a publisher. You're no longer going to just be in the artist studio doing your creativity. And Saturn over the next 3 years until February of 26 will start to make you get this shit real in the world and not leave it in your artist studio collecting dust. And the same goes for babies. You've been putting it off. Now you're going to, like, damn it, going to have a baby sooner than later. You're going to start getting baby making going. If you're looking for the romance of your lifetime, certainly this new moon could seed something quite special. Neptune and Venus are so beautifully aligned together here. Could be calling in the one, as they say, calling in the one, the soulmate one, from the beginning of this new moon, maybe blossoming through to August. And so look for those things to happen. And you're aligning with the nodes of fate. The North Node's in the house of marriage. Is it time to get married? You want to set a wedding date? Is it time to meet somebody who's marriageable? Is it time to make a contract or legal agreement with a business partner? Is it time to reach your audience and marketplace with your creativity? You tell me, Scorpio, what are you doing? You tell me. All right, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign people. All right, Sagittarius, this is a Jupiter ruled house. You're a Jupiter ruled being. So this is an important one for you. It's your real estate, home and private life, domestic life. It's what you do when you're down time, when no one sees you because you're home alone. But it's also really practically property, land, homeland, real estate, and sometimes legacy wealth matters. Well, there's a new beginning in that part of your sky. Some of you will be moving. Some of you will be had catastrophic failures here, Gonggong, but you're going to recover from them strong because you're going to tune into the soul of humanity or something like that. You're not going to be so selfish, Gonggong, and think of the needs of others as it applies to your private life and home life. Venus Neptune here could mean like a super duper romantic February full of, flowers and chocolate and massages with the one you're with, or just you enjoying your own life in a very luxurious temple of God's sanctuary, pleasure palace at your own home. And so this is all happening, and yet it's also the house of the mother. And so there may be a reboot of a beginning with your mother relationship, new moon in the house of the mother, and you may be reforming that relationship. And by August 30th, add 2 weeks, you'll see what we mean by that new beginning regarding mother. Now, Saturn wants to come in here and bring solid outcome and lasting, enduring realizations to property, home, land, real estate, mother relationships, legacy. Well, I mean, things could be like mom's ailing and elderly, and finally when Saturn gets into your fourth house, you guys talk to her about a living will, or you talk to her about making an inheritance or getting down with estate planning and things like that. Or you are the elderly mother and you start to think about those things. And this is happening between Saturn stays until February 2026. Saturn will do 3 touch points on March the 19th, October the 3rd, and December the 5th. Saturn will go 1, 2, 3, one story in 3 parts. To do with things to do with all of the fourth house themes. This looks like getting a mortgage, getting a property renovated and ready to get sold, constructing some new property, building a new home, laying the foundation, getting the architectural plans or drawings for some new property, homeland, or real estate. But the North Node is aligning to the house of pets. A home that's good for your pets, to the house of leases. Are you sure you want to buy? Shouldn't you rent? Or should you sell your house or rent it out? You want to eliminate debt. North Node has been increasing your debt load lately throughout 2022 to mid 23, July. Some of you felt like your debts are increasing. Maybe your mortgage rates, your debt loads, your credit card debt. Anyway, hopefully that's going to change because Jupiter gets into your debt house, karmic and real, middle of May this year to middle of May 24, and he may help relieve you of that. But in the meantime, you're aligning with the nodes of fate, with Saturn supporting some solidity here, and you're moving away from the 12th house things, which is backroom deals and negotiations, or self-undoing and self-sabotage, sometimes addictions, you're improving your health. And a lot of you Sagittarius are really getting serious once and for all. Damn it, Janet, it's time to improve your health and stop going into self-defeating, self-sabotaging, health undoing patterns. And this new moon's helping you go in that direction. And with Gonggong involved, for goodness sakes, maybe you had a catastrophic bit of blood work and found out that your blood pressure's off the charts or some weird thing like that. So you're turning it around with this new moon and Saturn's help as well. All right, we only have two more because I started with the Pisces first and always first. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. In your natal sky, the new beginning of this seated moon with Gonggong, Venus and Neptune and all the lush up of your third house is happening. Your third house is your siblings, maybe a younger sibling, trips and travel, your local neighborhood, your online world, your website, your writing, your social media platforms, your online dating stuff. A lot of times when something happens here, the new moon happens here, for you, it feels good because this is like a flow back to your Capricorn ascendant called a sextile. And so usually you receive the new moon in Pisces every year as something positive. There is, though, however, Gonggong here. Gonggong is what, like catastrophic disaster in your local neighborhood, online world, with a younger sibling or sibling in general, or aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, nephew, or what's been going on there. And now this new moon is like, okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to start a seed of something new. We're aligning with the nodes of fate and we're getting help from Saturn. Well, first of all, the nodes of fate, North Node in the fifth house, you're trying to find joy. You're trying to recover your joy spark. North Node is like, and you're like grasping and a bit desperate because it's also the house of sexuality and romance. So if you're single, you've been grasping and desperately wanting a partner. If you're with someone, you want more sex than they do maybe, but you're also wanting to expand into the interior spark of inspiration, inspirited, filled with spirit, joy, enthusiasm, vitality, innocence and childhood wonder, play. You're trying to find that point in your life again. And that North Node expanding in Taurus is telling you this is the way we want you to try to go. And so certainly fated romances can happen under this transit. And with a new moon in your third house, a fated new romance for single ones like you, because you took a trip, a skills-based educational setting, or you met the person online. You're kind of pulling away from the social groups of belonging. You may have disengaged from clubs, ditched social groups of friends. South Node is leaking air in that part of your chart, but also let go of dreams and visions and goals that you used to hold dear and thought were important, even letting go of greater career gains in service of finding a deeper, truer, more spiritual version of yourself and what your goals are for your life. And this moon is acting on those things in a positive way. Look to March the 19th, October 3rd, and December 5th, because those are the 3 points that Saturn will activate the 1-degree spot where this moon is happening. And it will return that story to the front of the foreground of your life. So perhaps, you might want to pay attention then to 3 periods of time that I just outlined, where you go back into this intrinsic search for joy, causeless joy, joy that's circumstantially independent, that you can be joyful without what goes on around you, whether your partner wants to love you up or not, whether or not your inspiration and muse is on or off. It's like the joy of being. And you may find that you are surrendering a little bit more in life because there's this letting go energy of the South Node in the 11th house to some ambitions. Like you're going to, realize that your ambitions are not always a source of joy. And finally, it's good for your sex life. So bottom line, Venus is exalted and she's in a flow vibe to the North Node in the house of sexuality. Certainly in the 2 weeks after this new moon, you might get laid. Or if you're in a partnership that the sex life got stale, it could like pick right back up. All right, hope you're enjoying that. And we're going to finally do the last sign, Aquarius. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, I'm one of you, and we're not last this time. We're last but least this time, not Pisces. So in your story, our story, wow, we cannot get rid of Saturn fast enough through our first house, can we? I was born with him there, so I don't like it, even though I'm used to it. That's why I was the oldest child, acting like I was 80 when I was only 10. I was very serious, and my mother used to say I was a really serious child. I was brooding. That's called Saturn on your ascendant in the first house. Now, in dignity at least. And now Saturn leaves Aquarius, and we're going to feel better March 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever the date is, 7th, I think. And he's visible again March 6th, yay, and he leaves our sign, yay. He's been brooding, mulling over the deep meaning of life here, invisible all of February at the tail end of our first house. But this is very important because when Saturn first leaves us and goes into the second house, he's going to be working with this new moon. And so this new moon, although it happens, of course, on the 19th and 20th of February, depending on where you live, it is going to be a spot that Saturn continually re-engages, and he'll re-engage that new moon on the 19th of March, October 3rd, and December the 5th. So we of all people will be looking at our money story. It is our second house of our resources and earnings, and there's new beginnings, and it's blossoming. Saturn is going to take up also where Jupiter left off. Jupiter was planting seeds throughout our chart here, all through, well, not all through, but various portions of 2022 and 21. And so we had golden little eggs of Jupiter seeds of goodness here. And some of those seeds will start to really blossom in the years ahead. But now Saturn comes in with Neptune and says, let's make your spiritual, dreamy goals and lofty visions for your money and earnings tangible. Neptune rules enlightenment. Remember, I told you I channeled 2 books. I have a blog called theawakeneddreamer.com. Go check it out, because people don't know that part about me, but I've had some serious spiritual enlightenment hit me. And at one point I was being pushed by some people to become a spiritual guru teacher. I'm like, not going to go there. I'm wiser than that. But if you want to think of it this way, your Neptune transit since 2011 in your second house of earnings, if you're an Aquarius rising especially, has made your earnings veer to the dreamy and fantastical and magical and spiritual at the expense of the tangible and real. Some of us have done years without money. I was kind of like living off savings from 2011 until 2014, 15. That's Neptune through the second. But I was doing spiritual teaching and teaching people stuff and writing a blog, but I wasn't making money at it really. I worked at a couple magazines though, so storytelling, but still as editors and stuff, but the money wasn't very significant. And so that's exactly what Neptune might have done: dissolved, fogged up, confused you as an Aquarius rising. One of my friends in California, Aquarius rising, is just starting to see real takeoff in his spiritual teachings. He's the author of a book on spiritual enlightenment, and he's just finally coming out of the fog of Neptune and really starting to soar there. And I would say that for all of us who are, Aquarius rising, Saturn is going to feel good for us in our second house, because he's the Lord of Aquarius, like he is for Capricorn. We don't mind him shoring up our finances, but bringing our financial reality of our dreams and visions into a tangible form. So for example, I channeled 2 books. Coming Age of Miracles in 2019. It happened when Neptune was transiting my natal Mars in my second house of earnings, voice, and vocation. And what will Saturn do when he goes through my second house? He'll probably say, remember those 2 books you channeled? Let's make them into real publications. Those are just examples. He wants to fortify our money as well. So again, as I said, March 19th, October 3rd, and December 5th are important, but also August 30th, add 2 weeks, big full moon in the end of the summer in Virgo season, full moon in Pisces could really bloom out our financial situation. For some of us, because of Jupiter moving through the 4th house, starting in the middle of May till the middle of May of 24, this is buying or selling real estate, moving to a dream home, possessing enough finances to do that, selling a property. It's just a globe around home and money stories for most of us, Aquarius risings, in also legacy, wealth, and heritage monies as well, during that longer transit of Jupiter in the 4th house. And I'm just bringing it up because, of course, Saturn moving through our second house will begin on the second pass, October 3rd and December 5th, to correspond with or talk with Jupiter in Taurus in our 4th house. And a lot of us will be moving. A lot of us will be finding a new Jupiter home, which is to say larger, a larger, more expansive home. I love my rental, but I'm renting a place, as you guys know, my regulars know that I'm renting a place, but it's only a temporary furnished rental until the middle of July 23. Now, I forgot to keep reminding people in the live premiere to hit the like button. I hope my regular crew kept telling people to do that. Thank you to all the regulars. I just had a giveaway earlier today on my Mercury. 3 people won 3 free burning question readings with me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please sign up for my newsletter, subscribe. I tell always my newsletter people we're having a contest giveaway. You'll never miss it, but you can also have your notifications bell hit and follow me on the community tab. And I'm swearing once a month I'm giving away free readings, free prizes, free courses. And I'm just celebrating the fact that my channel is doing so well at 2,600 subscribers last month, which is my all-time high. And I really, really, really am grateful for that because I love doing videos for you. I love teaching you. And that's one of the things I'm really loving in the feedback from people is they say they like that I try to explain what I'm seeing so that I can teach you what I know so that you can do this yourself, which is to finally finish up on Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life, Sky Reader class starting mid-March at 8 weeks. Come aboard, join us all. It is a class that I have taught twice. It gets better every time. It's for beginner astrologers, but I mean, I'm going to tell you, don't come in if you go, what's a planet, what's a chart, what's my, boy, if you don't know any astrology, why would you walk in? But I endeavor to take you through the very, very, very basics, but lead you along by the hand to have some divine timing tools, some predictive tools that you can use as a beginner astrologer that are reliable and super useful for you. This is not the class that's going to take you a year where you're going to learn to become a professional astrologer. I don't want to teach that class. That's not where I'm at. I want to teach you how to use astrology for your own life. All right. Thank you so, so much. Appreciate you guys being here in the live chat. All my regulars, I know you're so amazing. The Feral Writer, One Wise Lady, Twisted Art Lady, One Rare Bird, Stephen the Jupiterian, Mercury with a Message, L.A. Taylor, Misbehaving, Kelly K. I know I'm forgetting so many of you. All you need is love today. People come up with the most amazeballs names for their channels. All right, thanks guys. Ciao, ciao. Thank you for all supporting me, and I continue to love creating content for you. As long as I'm loving it, I'll continue to do it. Thanks all.